Give me actual content. Give
Content!
me a
Content! Who would have thought that a year after we're gonna be sitting here talking about Cyberpunk? And check this out, we got the Sony Pony 4 Jet Engine versus PS5 gameplay graphics comparison, and we also have the big homie Dreamcast guy. Let me tell you what, I finished this video and damn, okay, damn, he was spitting though. Okay, you want to see what the big homie says?
No.
And also, I want to show you guys this because listen, man, the graphics, I feel like that this is gonna show us the real fidelity of the graphics. You can see that, damn, man, the hair looking pretty good right here. we got the alias, we got the big story. But I want to get into this video. Is he asking for a kidney or is he have real demands? Make sure to smash. I'm ready to hold.
Loved and most hated games of all time. There's a camp that thinks it's the true next-gen experience, and then separately, there's people that think the developers are complete scam artists.
Damn,
well, today, the reason I'm talking about it is because they just released the biggest patch ever that finally fixes a lot of the problems to the game itself, and yet, honestly, I'm pretty disappointed. Why is it Gaber's Dreamcast guy here?
Yo, cut it! Stop right there, mister. I gotta stop you right there. Listen, the fact that they are coming out with a next-gen upgrade, but again, I'm not gonna go ahead and start like dicking on the homie. This is his opinion. He has the right to have his opinion, right? But point being, the fact that they're now coming out after a year plus, because you gotta look at Battlefield, okay? You gotta look at like other games. You gotta look at Anthem. The amount of games that came out unfinished and then they got abandoned. My guy, I feel like that a lot of people thought that this game would have been abandoned. We're not gonna get anything more. Surely they were dropping like an update here and there. A lot of people thought that they will be abandoning this game, but the fact that they came out with the next gen upgrade, which looks pretty good, right? Like 60 FPS, and the graphics are way better. It's improved version. Obviously it's not anything like crazy, but it's still really good, and I was not expecting anything, and right now I'm like, okay, well, we getting something. All right,
I've been playing the next gen update that's finally been released. This is completely free. If you happen to own any version of Cyberpunk, it now plays upgraded on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. But along with this, they're talking about the fact that this is supposed to basically repair the game in general. This is the much legendary 1.5 patch.
So empty, bro.
Now, my problem is that since the very beginning, they kept teasing that Cyberpunk was going to get a series of free downloadable contents. Big, giant new additions to the game itself. Apparently, this bug update, this patch that fixes some of the problems, is apparently one of the free DLCs. So what I want to do today is just check it out. I've been playing this on both Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, and I have to say that first and foremost, this update does make the game look a lot better, and the game does run a lot smoother. Let's begin by just talking briefly about the graphics themselves. So this is a very fundamental change. When you see it, there was a lot of very strange visual glitches that existed in the original launch of Cyberpunk. People T-posing, characters falling over dead for no reason, or walking waist deep in pavement. It seems like all of the myriad of glitches that existed, the hundreds of tiny ways that the game can break, have for the most part been repaired. This is a smoother experience.
Okay, first of all, I gotta do it for you, man.
Now, you have two separate graphics options when you play this on next-gen tech. You can basically play it in 4K with ray tracing at 30 frames a second, or basically a lower resolution version that's going to be 60 frames a second. I'm going to be frank, I think this looks fantastic. Yeah, I very much enjoy ray tracing. I really enjoy those things that push the boundary.
The only sad thing here is that it cannot play 8K 60 FPS like Soulja Boy console would.
Of visuals.
That's the sad part.
To realistically replicate shadow effects and reflections, it looks good. They've also done some more subtle stuff, like making sure that proper puddles actually look the way they're supposed to, light bounces off things appropriately, and there could even be things like fog effects. Now, while we're talking about reflections, we're going to get into the new content. Now, I'm putting quotes because this stuff, in my opinion, should not count as downloadable content. So here we go, let's talk about some stuff. First and foremost, here we are in V's apartment. V is obviously the main character. They have now made it so you can customize your apartment. You can go to the computer and swap out the way it looks. You can now do stuff like change the color palettes, add in extra little things, or even rent out separate apartments so that you don't have to go all the way back to your home every single time. In your apartment, you can now do things like play the guitar a little bit, and also go up to the mirror and finally change the way your character looks. This has been one of the most requested features for over a year, is that once you made your character originally, you were stuck as that forever.
What did it cost? 1 year. Damn, 1 year.
Despite the fact that this is the cybernetic future where people got laser beams coming out of their eyeballs, for some reason they thought it was more appropriate to make it where your V stayed your V. You can now change the way your character looks. So this is pretty much the major changes they've done to V's apartment. This is apparently DLC. This is apparently worth a giant patch of 1.5.
Yeah, the way he says that this is apparently DLC, my guy. Like, okay, listen, man. I'm not expecting them to give us their kidneys, okay? I'm not expecting them to just come out like gun blazing and be like, okay, content there, content there. It would be really good if they come out and started dropping content left and right, but let's keep a buck here, man. And it's true though. Is the homie asking them to drop a kidney? No, he's just simply asking for content, and that's his birthright. But I feel like that this update for today is actually really good. I think nobody saw this coming, and I believe that another contributing factor here is that they just came out of nowhere, right? Yesterday Xbox accidentally leaked their surprise, but if they never did, this would be a complete shocker. And I'm pretty sure to most people out there, if you're finding out about this right now and you didn't know what happened yesterday, you'll be like, yo, I didn't see that coming.
A lot of the other stuff they've added is more subtle. Things like they've rebalanced a lot of the gameplay, so some guns do more damage. A lot of things are more balanced when it comes to the economy.
Finally,
certain cars are not so expensive. They've basically tried to tweak a lot of things under the hood to make sure this game looks and plays smoother. Speaking of under the hood though, they have fixed driving. I never had that much of a problem driving around.
Let me put the homie on blast. Let me put the homie on blast. Bro, they fixed the driving? No, I don't believe that. First of all, the driving is so poo-poo in this game, man. I was catching herpes when I first played this game. Is the cop system better? I want to know. The cops be spawning right out of my butthole. Can a brother perhaps get a good cop system?
It was functional. It was appropriate. It worked as much as possible. They've managed to change all of the gravity and the physics related to vehicles. Cars feel heavier. They're now able to drift. It feels much better. I mean, this game still requires a lot of driving. A lot of people's main insult to Cyberpunk is that it's just futuristic Grand Theft Auto because it forced you to drive so much. Well, at least now, as you're going from location to location, it feels better. I also do think that the aiming and stuff feels a lot smoother just in general. But this does bring me to the major addition that seems to have been added, which is they finally fixed the NPCs. The AI in this game was very busted. Characters were only able to detect one enemy at a time, which meant that, like, if a bunch of cops were fighting a bunch of robbers and...
My guy, when the game came out, it was so bad, though. The NPCs were shiza, the driving was shiza, the cop system was shiza. The story was actually pretty decent, though, I gotta say. Right now, I'm actually really tempted to go and play,
You started to walk up, they could not see you. You would literally be invisible because the character was only able to recognize one threat at a time. It seems like they fixed that. They're bragging about the fact that they have, to a big degree, fixed the AI. The artificial intelligence finally has some level.
Hey, time up.
This goes for two separate things at once. This goes for the enemies you fight, and it also goes for just the random crowds. If you fire a bullet into a group of people, no longer do they just do that ducking animation. Now they finally run away. They also can get in cars while people are driving away. If you shoot, they now appropriately freak out. You can't just shoot people and they sit there like a catatonic mannequin. These are changes that are nice, but to call this DLC still feels like a bit of an exaggeration. Like, a lot of the updates they've listed here on their official page are ridiculous. Like, hey, if you played this on a PlayStation 5, it's now got 3D audio. Yay, look, I love 3D audio.
Listen, okay, Dreamcast guy, I'm not playing this for you. I'm actually playing for them because I totally see where the big homie coming from, okay? Because 3D audio, that's such a basic feature. That's a feature you have to have in your game to begin with, okay? You don't just come out and be like, yeah, man, that's a DLC. You don't just come out. That's like me saying legacy features. You remember what happened with Battlefield? They're coming out right now and they're saying legacy features, right? Like scoreboard is a legacy feature. That's basically what's happening nowadays in video games, right? It's sad, but you know, homie has a point, okay? He has a point.
It's hard to call this an update. Oh, it's got haptic triggers for the DualSense controller on the PlayStation 5. That's cool, but I'm not sure that counts as DLC.
But in defense of CD Projekt Red, the fact that they came out with the next gen upgrade today, they're basically giving us the patch notes, right? They're telling us what's new, what's not. Hey, we got the haptic feedback. Hey, you want the next gen upgrade? We got you with the haptic feedbacks, the 3D upgrade and everything like that. So you know what? I don't see that being that big of a problem.
Now, the other thing they've decided to add, which I guess is the biggest new addition to this, is a new gun shop. You can go to this place that does randomized sales. If they don't have the guns you like, you're able to just fast forward time and check out the new sales they have. This is nice, but like, okay, let me just be brutally honest. This is cool. I think it's nice that there's a new way to actually buy guns and, you know, get new cool gadgets to blast people with. My problem, as somebody who has been...
Real quick, let me show you guys this baddie real quick. I'm pretty sure some of you will be like, yo, Skizzle, show me that baddie, okay? I want to see that next-gen graphics. We're going to be disabling the face cam as well, so you can actually get the action here. Obviously, the homie out here on the PS4 doing teabags, but on PS5, he's like, damn, that's some real shiza happening. So yeah, back to the gameplay.
In fact, I think I'm one of the first people in the world who beat it on Xbox. I finished it over like 10 days before the game even came out. My issue is that I want additional content.
I finished
real
this
content.
I finished this game on Soulja Boy console before you finished it 10
not
days
patches
before, okay?
that are talking about cool new jackets, not new additional lines for people to do. Like, one of the things they're adding is that now you can text your lovers more often, so the romance options are a bit more intricate. I want new quests. I want New Game Plus. I want something that's going to make me actually care about Night City. You see, I feel weird. I've played so many hours of this game that even now with the next gen patch, I have no reason to go back. What am I gonna do? Start a new file?
Okay, this is gonna be a bit of a take right here because listen, I see where the homie Dreamcast is coming from. Now, I played the game when it first came out, got almost towards the end, but the game was bugging like crazy. So I was like, okay, let me decide to hop off real quick. I press X, I press the PlayStation home button, cancel that shiz out, went over on the YouTubes. I ended up watching the ending that way. I know I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited a little bit, but I was like, listen, man, damn, I'm just playing this game for the story so I can do that on YouTube. I did that, case closed, it was all good. I was like, I'm gonna wait for the next gen update. I never touched the game ever since, and it's been a year plus, and now that we're getting the next gen upgrade, I'm really looking to play this game and perhaps finish it fully this time. But obviously, if you're like Dreamcast guy right now who played this game, finished this game around the launch time, and you're like, man, come on, man. And especially if you played this game on PC, though, this next-gen patch is not gonna do anything for you. You're like, okay, well, I played the best version on the PC. Already finished the game. There's nothing really for me. But you gotta factor in the fact that there would be so many new people out there. Most people are on consoles, right? Like, I got a good PC. I'm grateful for that. But I'm a console peasant. I love to play on my Shony Pony, okay? I love to play on my PS5. But at the end of the day, there would be so many people that saw the review that were like, listen, this game, I don't know, man, a lot of reviews are saying that this game is bad. Right now, I'm just gonna wait a little bit, wait till the game gets fixed. I'm gonna wait till the next gen upgrade comes out, and once it does, that's when I'm gonna purchase the game. And I feel like that a lot of people that haven't bought the game, they're gonna be really happy with this. But obviously, if you play this game, especially on PC, you beat the game, then Dreamcast guy has a point there.
Am I going to try and find the last crappy crackheads that are off in some alley somewhere and blast them with my new super lasers? Give me actual content. Give me a real update. Give me new stuff to do instead of just new butts to look at.
But I uploaded this video earlier today where this horse got recruited for Red Dead Redemption 5. We have this baddie out here looking like a snack. So definitely check that video out, and I will see you right there.